with the other panel. Over to you, Dibal.
Many thanks indeed. Ken Mijungu there, of course, just getting the feel and flavor of what is happening from different camps right now at Kasarani and there at Nyao National Stadium. People are still trickling in, as you've heard, and we're expecting a full-blown stadium with, of course, people coming out in force to support their various presidential candidates. We continue our pace here with the conversation, of course, looking and teasing out what the Deputy President was raising much earlier. Before we went to see what is happening on the ground. And before we went there, we were just picking the brains of Ambrose Weda, who is a consummate advocate of High Court. And we were on that issue of deciphering the speech that we had from Deputy President.
Yes, so I was saying what I deciphered from his speech. Number one, I so tactful, capturing people at around 9 a.m. with a very organized, choreographed press release statement. Now, this captures the middle class, the upper class, the ones who eat caviar, the ones whose tea are thick. They don't go to the rallies. They watch their TV and they're at home and they're like, whatever. He chose to address those. So I saw it as tact. We have moved from where candidates come from their houses and they are being escorted by a myriad of cars. Now he has chosen to go and address, once it's like he has addressed a rally of local and international people, middle class attending. Number two, he called for peace. It is necessary. Peace, peace, peace. Number one is necessary because you need to calm the nerves in the country as we go for election. Number two is preparing should anything go wrong and the ICC comes calling.
Yes.
You said, play my speech, play my clips. I called for peace. I remember just the other day, I also put on my Facebook page, I said, every Kenyan with a good phone, make sure they're fully charged and put your cameras on. Anybody trying to incite anybody, for any reason, capture it. Capture. If there's violence, some people will go to the ICC, but this time they will not come back. We will put so much evidence that even if you want to kill, then you have to kill everybody. So, that I think he was also saying, in case there's a trouble, this is my submission. So that was good. Number three, he also shoved up confidence in IBC. Where we are, if you cast aspersions on the ability, on the intentions, on the plans of IBC, then people may lose confidence in that IBC. And if they do, whatever the outcome, one side will reject it and say, oh, no. Oh, this and this and this. It's like, sorry to use this, but it's like a lady, your partner is pregnant. Then somebody comes and says, even that child is not yours. Even if you believe that the day the child is born, you have to check. And if it's darker than you are like, hey. So you just wait. So he has done very well.
Forensic investigation.
Yes. And you see, forensic would be like going to the Supreme Court. But before, you may refuse to go and pick the baby from the hospital. Now, this is what we are saying. So he has done well confirming confidence in IBC. He has also shown up confidence in his core base. 3-4 days earlier, he was complaining, oh, these people are doing this, oh, they are doing this, IBC, oh. So that could have given an impression that there's a problem for his core base. And you saw yesterday, Wakena Haman here was saying, we are seeing these are concession speeches. So he has made them like we are going to win this thing. And that is good. He also seemed to have been speaking to the international community. The foreign embassies here, people who are here. So that speech that I stand for peace, this is my agenda, this is where I'm going. I think he did that, he captured that. The local international business, assuring them we are going to do business, we are going to do this. He also had occasion to revisit and regurgitate the main contents of his manifesto. Remember, these rallies, you don't talk about manifestos. There you talk about slogans and propaganda. And you throw mud at the others. There's nothing like chapter this or that. No. You go there and say, watu walisosa inge, walimbili, yapa. So he was able to take this occasion to read out again what he stands for. I dare say that that was very wise of him, although he also took occasion to give the platitudes. You know, the things that you give to the middle, lower class, sorry to use that word, things that make them vote emotionally. There will be ugali sosa. There will be all these things. Yet, when he gets to power, if he gets to power, there's the reality of the past. Money, utonglo, the government has. Outside, remember the other year on, they talked about, we as Jubilee, and we talked about laptops. Every child, every laptop, in the morning, breakfast, lunch, they'll be looking at their laptops as they eat. Then no Kenyan will sleep hungry. So you are eating and checking laptops. Him and my president, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, that was their promise. Kenyans are hungrier today. The laptops are not there. But you give the holoi polloi platitudes that they love, so that when they go to the booth, they are very emotional. Those are the ones that when they go to the rally, you say, ugali sosa will be 3 times. And they say, yeah, free university education. You ask them, if we have problems funding the current ones, where will we get the money to do that? When somebody even budgets to say, I will save from corruption, then I will fund this. Can you do your budget for money which is not there? And I'm going to hand the thieves, then I... So he did relatively well in terms of tact and in terms of capturing. I think he has addressed the world. And if
Thank you.
people, Babas, people like this, please tell him wherever he is. Let him do also an abracadabra, quickly.
All right. How much would I also just ask a question? Because he's tried also to manage the...
I wanted to react to this, but you can ask.
Oh, okay, just react, then I'll ask the question.
First of all, because certain things, as we sit here, we must not let them to pass, because people are watching us, and there are millions, if possible. This Muganga thing, you know, what Raila really said is, what do Swahili people say? Muganga hajigangi. Katika Kiswahili, Muganga ni mtu mwenye tiba, mtu wa kutibu. But we in uko bara, sababu hatujui Kiswahili, we take Muganga to mean something that is not what. Yeah, Muganga na mchawi ni tofauti. Muganga ni mtu mwenye kutibu, anaganga watu. Manake wanasema Waswahili hajigangi yeye. Kama mwerevu hajinyoi. So, and on Christianity, what Raila was saying, the context, he was talking to Muslim women who had gone to see him. And they had genuine concerns. 3 months ago or 4 months ago, I can't remember when, a young man came to me. I'm related to him somehow, distant. The father is my cousin, not even distant, almost really cousin. He wanted to go to Canada. He was looking for a passport. The mother to this chap is a Muslim. So he bears a Muslim name. He applied for a passport. And they are going as a team. Others got passport. So he came to me. When I went to Nyayo House, the name has been taken to NIS, the intelligence. Just because he has a Muslim name. You people, you know, you must understand this country. Because these Muslims are your brothers. So they have a raft of issues. If you want to get an ID and you have a Muslim name, even if you are Juma, somebody, Njoroge, this Juma will get you into a problem. So these are the issues Raila was talking about. And he said, and what Raila said was this: our colonial masters elevated Christians, so that for a Christian there are no questions. For some other people there must be questions. A good government should know that all these people are Kenyans. Please, you should get Raila right. On Mother Karua saying regulations, she had a right to say there are many people who feel we have so many, sorry to use this word, so many useless sects and churches in this country. Rwanda has done that, other countries have done it. But that is our opinion. If you take it to parliament, and that's why parliament is there, they can tell you, where Bwana Waziri, where hapa hapana, hawa ni wapiga kura yetu. So let me go on now. That is over. Now, I've heard my sister, younger sister called Linda, talking about listening to the people. The truth is, all these people, even Wajakoya, he has listened to people before he comes. Raila went across the country. Listening bit is really nothing. In any case, the things that Ruto is talking about are the same things Raila is talking about. This is our country. The problems are the same. None of them is making a departure. None of them is radical. Actually, if there's anybody radical, is Mwaure and Wajakoya. They have some radical proposals. These others are telling us things that I call textbook economics. Okay? Let me tell you this, Deba. If you look at the Azimio manifesto, it's capturing the problems in this country. If you look at the so-called plan of Kenya Kwanza, I want to put it to you. I was telling Aseka when we were off camera. If you take this to Nairobi Primary School and ask children there to write an essay on the problems of this country, they can produce better than what Azimio has given you and better than what Ruto has given you. You get what I'm saying? So these are common things. Finally, even if the people you are addressing according to weather, the people you are addressing according to weather are people with the ability to discern, to critique what you are saying. Those people know, my friend, the problem that ails this country is corruption. And they are looking at the person who can deal with that corruption. So they look at Ruto na Gachagua, one side. Then they look at Mother na Raila, one side. Your guess is as good as mine. The critical thinking voter, where they could most likely vote. And for the Mount Kenya people have said on this bench, the issue for them between now and Tuesday, more than anything else, is the appetite for Uhuru that Ruto seems to have to deal with him. Every time he gives a considered speech, well thought out, written or something like that, it will always have something about Uhuru Kenyatta and how he will deal with him. Today it was about a forensic audit. So those are the things people are going to look at. Now you can ask your question.
Right. On the implementation bit, because I think also we've heard from both sides of the divide. Azimio will implement a raft of issues within 100 days. This is, we are going to turn around the economy within 100 days. So I'm going to give that elephant dance to the economy. Within 100 days, this will be done. Today, Ruto has been very categorical because maybe they've realized this implementation bit might be a tripping wire for everyone because there is expectation. You've made these promises within 100 days. He says, of course, there will be quick wins. He's not really mentioned what will be the quick wins, but we can try and tease out what will be the quick wins when they come to power. And he's categorized them to short-term, medium, and the long-term projects, as it were. So on the campaign trail, of course, you'll try and say, within 100 days, I'm going to make the stipend for everyone. 6,000 shillings will be reflecting in your bank accounts. Within 100 days, Unga. In fact, Azimio has been very categorical. Within 100 days, we're going to bring down the cost of living.
Yes.
And another thing I want us to point out is the fact that when you talk about text or pretext and text and out of context, if I may refer back to what the Deputy President was talking about, the economy and the Unga crisis, and taking that to be a fodder now for his campaign trajectory moving forward. The fact that he is not really speaking on the dynamics around also the economy globally, the recession that we are in, really seems to point that, you know, it is the fault of the government that we've actually sunk to where we are right now. What is the sincerity on that? Because there is the Ukraine factor, of which he downplayed it even during the debate as well. We have the drought, the climate change that is happening in this country.
Oil and so
that has actually contributed to the Unga crisis. So you cannot take Unga crisis just as a tool to make a political expediency without also addressing the dynamics around it, where we have the global dynamics really playing, or the global shocks that is affecting the economy as well.
Yes, you see, but you have asked the questions and answered them. I first heard of these 100 days with Mikey back in 2002. And the thing I remember about 100 days, as Seka would remember, maybe where I was still a little young, Linda had not been born perhaps. The thing about 100 days, I can't remember anything else. Maybe there was nothing else. It was about, in 100 days, I will bring a new constitution. That was Mikey Baki. These 100 days is just a joke for everybody. Because there are certain things you can't do even if you want it. Some things call for regulation. Some things are with the parliament. You don't control parliament. Some things are contractual. Government has entered into contracts with people. Other things are external to even the country. So there is that which you can do. Before I answer that, I just wanted to point out education is possible. You can do to what Raila says about education is possible. Now, it is true. People are looking for votes. And when they look for votes, they will tell us everything and anything. Most of them is fairly cheap. Beginning with the explanation of the problem. If you want to know somebody cannot solve a problem, look at his explanation or understanding of the problem. Don't go for the solution. How does he understand that problem? Because you have rightly put it. Some of the challenges we have are beyond us. International prices of crude oil.
Yes.
Okay? The Ukraine war that is affecting the world, and Ruto may deny if he wishes because he wants to vote. Okay? Those are international factors. Droughts that you have said and other factors. Internally here, there are things we can do, some of which government has done. You must appreciate. Today, the cost of petrol would be about 200 shillings, were it not be for the subsidy, which now they were saying it had been put until 15th of this month after voting. The minister yesterday pushed it to December, long after elections. Maize flour, unga, is now at around 100 shillings because government has introduced subsidy. What I'm trying to say, the point I'm trying to make, very quickly.
We need to be winding up as well.
The point I'm trying to make is that there are things government has already done to make life bearable because it could be worse. Still, there are other things government could do to make life better, which it has not done. Now, if you reach there, then you say, now, when I take over, some of these things which government has failed to do are, for example, 1, 2, 3, and these are my solutions.
Thank you, Herman.
Yes.
Let's hear from Professor Eric Aseka finally, then we'll get our headline thoughts as well. I really want to appreciate you also for being amazingly patient as well.
Two things. There has been mention of governmental interventions to regulate the church. Let it be known, the government doesn't have the capacity, the mandate to do that, in view of the fact that the state is a secular institution and the church is a spiritual institution. So governmental intervention in church affairs is meddling. The area of religious activity should be left to self-regulation. Very, very important. And whether it's Azimio or Kenya Kwanza, they had better understand that issue very clearly. And worshippers all over get very disenchanted to see a secular institution intervening in spiritual matters over which they have no competence. The second critical issue is the whole question of propaganda, the way it is packaged. And yesterday I talked about misinformation, malinformation, and disinformation. And therefore propaganda as a tool has a distorting effect to the extent that it undermines the creation of public awareness in terms of societal values. And so what it is creating demagogues who are entrenching a culture of political opportunism and expedience, which is not the making of statesmen. That is my view.
Thank you. And your closing statement, then we come to Linda as well. Your closing statement.
My closing statement is that let us not meddle in those arenas for which we have no competence. Because there was a man called King Uzziah. When he went into a religious sphere and tried to offer sacrifices, he was leprous. So there are consequences with interference in areas for which we have no competence. And my call to Kenyans, they should be able to tell the difference between propaganda and facts.
Thank you. Thank you. Linda?
Dibal and viewers, at sunset today, the presidential candidates will retire because it will mark the end of the campaign period. So for me, I'm struck by the fact that, I am struck by the fact, are people, what is the viewer out there, are you planning to go and vote on Tuesday? If you can either be one of two, a conscious voter who takes your ID, goes to the station and consciously votes the candidate that you wish to vote for. Or you can be the person who votes involuntarily by remaining at home. Because if you remain at home, you've voted. You have allowed those who have a position to go out there and be able to, express it. So mine would be to say, let us all turn out in our lengths and breadths in this country to go to the ballot and be able to make a choice. And when looking at William Ruto's speech this morning, cost of living, unga, all these things that were mentioned, we remain with them at sunset today when he retires. So I would say one needs to be very thoughtful about the kind of Kenya you want to see going forward. And I would say cost of living is a key issue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Linda.
Thank you. Debal, there is no crisis of hunger in Tanzania, Uganda. Let's not blame small things on Ukraine war. The problem which needs to be fixed, either Raila will fix it or Ruto or my brother Waihiga, Wajakoya can also fix it. Let's look at it. But finally, let me tell fellow Kenyans, one, our presidential candidates, I call upon you on Sunday, please go to church, pray, then go home and sit with your family as we wait to vote. Number two, fellow Kenyans, do not shed any blood, your blood or anybody's blood, for the sake of any politician. These people will do a handshake when you are dead and buried and gone, and your children crying as orphans. Don't shed any blood. Go and vote. Assist those who are weak, those who are unwell, to also go and vote. If your candidate wins, hallelujah. If he is not the winner, next time. Finally, give God the first place in your life. Kenya is big and blessed, and we are going to continue growing and being wealthy and protected and loved.
Amen.
Haman, finally.
The Constitution stipulates the winner of this election, among other things, will garner 50% plus one. Now, you viewer who supports Ruto or Raila, what would you feel if your candidate is beaten by that one vote because you didn't vote? Will you live with your conscience? That thing will kill you. And history is full of, has some of those examples. You mentioned one, where a person wins with one vote. Supposing it is that one vote of yours that makes that Ruto you love lose to Raila, you will not live with yourself. So I ask Kenyans, turn out and vote. Do so peacefully, because peace is number one, peace is number two.
Thank you.
Peace is number three.
Indeed. Thank you. Thank you, Haman Manyora. Always a treat having you guys here in studio. Thank you for that very massive and cogent and riveting discussion that we've had this morning. And yes, it bears reminding as we're winding up that the power of one vote is critical. As Haman Manyora has mentioned, Hitler came to power because of that one vote. But also be reminded as well that politicians are the same all over the world, right? Where they will promise you, right, to build bridges even where there is no river. So take cognizance of that as well. We cross over now to Mombasa Road, where Ken Mijungu is standing by to take over also with his set of guests to just discuss and tease out some of these issues that we have today. And as we keep our eyes peeled and keep out our ears for what will be happening at Nyayo National Stadium and also at Kasarani Stadium this